Now, at number 4, I have Denzel Boston. Denzel Boston, to me, is getting closer and closer to this top 3 range. I don't think he's ever going to be in that top 3 range, but I don't think you're going to lose much by getting Denzel Boston at 4. The reason why I love Denzel Boston so much is because his concerns as a player, I don't really find as big as concerns as other people does. So obviously the biggest thing with Denzel Boston is the production. When you look at his production, 62 receptions, 881 yards, 11 touchdowns. I believe that's primarily because he played for Washington, who again wasn't one of the top programs this year. He didn't really have a consistent wide receiver two next to him. And then also when you look at Washington, they were one of the biggest RPO offenses. When you look at Jonah Coleman, who we probably will talk about again, whether it's this month, next month, he's going to be one of the top running backs in the NFL draft. And then when you look at Demon Williams, he's very strong as an RPO quarterback. So again, he was running a lot in that offense as well. So the production thing doesn't stray me away. And then the other big concern with Denzel Boston that a lot of people have is what his time's going to be, what he's going to run. Again, that's a big question mark, but something that I don't really think is that big of a deal because I think when you look at Denzel Boston, you turn the tape, the way this guy's able to get open, I don't think the speed is really going to matter that much because again, whether he runs a 4.47, whether he runs a 4.52, again with the combine and everything, a lot of people don't run at all. But we've had these same exact conversations. I don't know if you remember last year. He did end up going pretty high and he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. But it was the same type of thing that was straying people off literally towards the draft with Tetairoa McMillan. So again, Tetairoa McMillan wasn't the fastest because he was a bigger receiver who again showed at the college football level that he was one of the best receivers in the sport. Denzel Boston, to me, I think he is the perfect fit for any offense because again, I think what he again lacks in speed makes up with his size. He's 6'4", so he's the biggest receiver out of the 5 people in this list. Not only that, for somebody who's 6'4", he's able to go in and out of the slot as well, which I think is massive. Again, we haven't seen somebody really that big really produce in the slot probably since like Marquise Colston. So I think that is very big for Denzel Boston as well. I think he's able to make quarterbacks look a little better because I do think he comes up with a lot of spectacular catches. And I think, again, even at worst, when you look at year one with Denzel Boston, it's very similar, to my opinion, with Devontae Adams last year. Like, just his stats in college football remind me of Devontae Adams last year. When you look at him, he had 881 yards and he had 800 yards the year before. But this guy puts up like 10-plus touchdowns a season. It's because he's able to show that he's a red zone threat in short yardage red zone situations. Again, 11 touchdowns this year, although he only had 881 yards. So I think that's massive as well. Denzel Boston, to me, I think he's kind of sliding within these top 3. I think he's going to go a little bit behind them. I think he's going to go to the 20, 30th range. But I think Denzel Boston really is a sleeper because, like I said, the concerns everybody has, I think the production really came down to the school and offense that he was in. And I think when you look at the speed, not really a factor to me at all because this guy's shown that he's consistently able to get open. And I think his size is really what separates him from a lot of people on this list as well. I don't think these are major concerns by any means. Now, the 2 destinations I really like for him, I think it's really one destination and one destination only. I think Buffalo is the best destination for him. Obviously, we know Buffalo needs a receiver. Buffalo needs a lot of things, in my opinion. I think they're relying on Josh Allen too much. But a guy like Denzel Boston, who is the prototypical NFL size receiver, I think would be perfect, again, paired up with Josh Allen. And then also, I do like New England at 31. We're going to go into an episode with Ken going over the Super Bowl, but we all saw that New England doesn't have that weapon that consistently wins that. And when you look at, again, pairing up with Drake May, a guy who would be on the same type of timeline as Denzel Boston, because, again, he only got drafted 2 years ago. I like both of those destinations for him. But, again, long story short, with Denzel Boston, I think he slides to 4 based on the offense and then, again, that speed. But I think the speed is, again, so overrated in the NFL nowadays. Because even like with a smaller receiver like Jackson Smith-Njigba, not a guy with elite speed, again, it's showing in the NFL you don't need the elite speed. What you need is the ability to get open. Denzel Boston gets open. I think Denzel Boston, you're not really losing much from the top 3 if you draft him at 4. I think 4th in this class, like I like Denzel Boston a lot.
So you're under the impression that he is gonna like definitely be one of those receivers that gets taken in the first round.
Yeah, I think he will definitely get drafted in the first round. Now, again, the only thing is, again, you have Cardinal Tate, Mekhi Lemon, Tyson.
Yeah.
I think all those receivers will be snatched up by pick like 16, 17. And then I think Denzel Boston is going to be in that 20, 30 range, whether a team's going to trade up for him. or whatever. I know a lot of people were saying Pittsburgh. I don't really like Pittsburgh because again,
Because now I have the draft order because I was seeing like Pittsburgh could be a destination. I mean, it depends also what they end up doing with quarterback if Aaron Rodgers decides to come back. Um, another team too potentially. I mean, if they cut ties with their receiver and they end up trading him, I mean, maybe the Eagles if they trade AJ Brown. I know that's kind of been a conversation. We'll see if that ends up happening, because then you're going to need someone to replace him if they end up trading him, pair him up with Devontae Smith. But I do like obviously the Bills and the Patriots. I mean, we saw firsthand in the Super Bowl the pass catchers that the Patriots have, not that they aren't bad receivers, but they definitely do need to upgrade there, on that offense because, I mean, going up against an elite defense like Seattle, you saw that they were definitely missing like a true number one wide receiver. And obviously Stephon Diggs, those days are behind him, although he had a productive year. And Buffalo, obviously, and that was one of Diggs' old teams. That's another destination that could definitely work because, I mean, the Bills the last couple of years of it, they've had to get veteran receivers in like Amari Cooper at the trade deadline, and then Brandon Cooks, they brought him in this past season. So that would be a good spot for him as well. But I'm in lockstep with you on that with those potential spots. And like I said, Pittsburgh, I said the Eagles. So.
Yeah, the thing is, honestly, with New England at 31, like I like the spot. I don't know if Denzel Boston is going to make it to 31. Again, I think a lot of people are seeing too, like these receivers, like year after year, first round, second round receivers, like early second round receivers, like a lot of them are panning out. And I think a lot of teams are like willing to go for that guaranteed good player. And I think, again, even though it's 4 receivers to go within the first round, I really do believe they're all going to go. So, again, Denzel Boston is somebody I like. I thought, again, his weaknesses are something that, again, don't really stray me off of him or think lower of him at all. And again, like a lot of things, like, again, we were talking about with the quarterback episode, and we're going to continue to talk about it throughout the NFL draft. A lot of things with these players is just like the situation they're in, and you have to like kind of take them out of the situation. I know it could be hard sometimes, but out of the situations where like for a receiver to produce, I feel like Denzel Boston had like the least chance to produce out of the 5 receivers on this list. Again, all right, let's get off of Denzel Boston. We're going to go